Yo, hello and good evening. I have returned. And today, in this today for once not late stream, I will be doing something. As a matter of fact, I will be doing something. First of all, I have to open my own stream for that one single view. Of course. So, what is it that we are going to do today? I might have potentially figured out a way that we can change the hitbox with. However, I am not sure. So let's look at this. It is not in here. However, the the what? The present probably needs some sort of an override. And I have, as a matter of fact, found a I found a tutorial for it that is, however, for Neoforge. And I found this Reddit post here, which explains in not very crazy detail, however it does explain how the entire thing is supposed to work. Where was I? In any case, we need overrides here with voxel shape, so what ChatGPT was yapping when I asked was apparently not entirely false. In any case, however, the why is it giving me so many different stream links? I don't even know. The issue I have is, how do I do this? I did already make a custom Oh, I didn't make custom blocks yet. There's nothing in entity. Bruh. But we're going to make a new new package called custom. And in there we're going to make a new Java class and we're going to call it custom. Probably present block class or something. Now the custom drink items work like this. This should be relatively simple. So we basically need a custom what is this? Public? Okay. Ah, so now it works, huh? Ah, no. Okay, so this is what this is. Now we'll just write that override that Blood suggested here. Which hopefully works. Or could work, I guess. Where is this inside? In here. Import. 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 Min, max, max, max. So now I need to look at my, no, actually, I'm doing a stupid. I need to add this here. This is what I actually need to add because because effectively we need two cuboid shapes. And the cuboid shape needs multiple shapes, and if we find the present JSON here, so we have these two elements here, the 303 303 13.8.13. Okay. Min x 262. And that's going to be like 16. Oh no, 14, 9, 14. Okay. Yeah, no, makes sense. As a matter of fact, I have just written this and it has no errors. This is the most code I've written in my life. No, just kidding. Cool, cool. So now we're going to have to use the mod blocks and make this a... How did we do this? In custom... In the mod food... No, mod items here. This is a new something. Okay. Oh. Can I do this now? Hmm. Can I do it here? Does that work? Oh my god, if this works. Alright, if this starts, that would already be great. If it crashes when you place a block, that would not be as great anymore. It's not crashed yet, which is actually further than this often goes. Now usually crashes here. Also, I remembered before the stream that I was supposed to add loot tables also to the other texture block, I mean to the sugar block. Bah. It doesn't work. Very interesting, as a matter of fact. Why is it lagging so much? Gotta quickly open Task Manager. What the fuck? Oh no. Oh, come on, the Task Manager crashed again. My god, are we serious? It's fucking dead. What the fuck is happening? Come on, just crash Task Manager. Oh my god. He's back. The Task Manager is back. God freaking damn. Now this is all running fine. But I wanted to tell me. Are we dead ass? I hate the Task Manager, I swear to God. Look at it. Are we serious? What is that, bro? GPU 1, okay, at least GPU 1. Still. Task Manager is like the most shitty thing in entire Windows 10. Telling you. In any case, it's running. This is not, but no idea why. It's running like shit. So this probably doesn't. Still exactly the same size. Oh, I am fucking stupid. Absolutely stupid. This is what I need to abstract, not the other one. To replace them. So dumb. Oh, ho ho. Ho ho ho. If this works, it's Christmas, bros. Please do not crash. Rick. Oh, it is the regular present. Which one did I work on? Present empty. It's not present empty, it's literally... No, I'm... Oh man. It's custom present. This is potentially not it. How do I do that? Let's look at this. It's white as hell. Why did they not have a dark mode? I am being freaking exploded. Huh, cool. So it was here. So it is really this. Where's blocks.register? There nothing like that? Ah. Ah, no. Wait, it's still block. Is this how I have to do it? Is this how I have to do it? expected here. Block settings create. Why? Okay. Maybe. Because on the item side, this is how we always did this. Except for that the abstract blocks was new items as well. So we get a new item and another new item. And here we only have one new. Okay. Yeah, so this is not working. I believe this is not how this works. Huh. Did I extend block? Yes. State view pause context. So this is still not the way to go. Something is still wrong. So we will go to the fabric documentation here, which finally is in dark mode. We are on 21.8. Cool, wow, thanks. That's also not what I need. They here have done something. I will try to work with this.
The other one, so you do two different voxel shapes and then combine them, and then you do this. So this is what I would maximally recommend. Even there, it's a little bit of a toss-up because this is, you know, higher than a block, and if your voxel shape is bigger than 16 by 16 by 16, you can run into major issues. So I highly recommend basically doing it like this. It's not that hard to explain, but let's just take a look, another look here in Blockbench. And the idea is that a normal block, right? If I were to add another cube over here,
yes,
I were to size this up to 16 by 16 by 16, right? Denoted obviously by these ones right here. This would be 18, so it's 16. What you'll find is that this is the normal bounding box that we've just seen. And yes, this does go a little bit beyond that. It doesn't matter that much because this is just visual. And the bounding box over here, the 16 by 16 by 16, that is the thing that is actually responsible for the collision, let's say. Now, you could do a perfect collision, right, with every single bit over here, with the tiny, you know, this like tiny size over here, 0.2, 0.5 changes. You could do that. I highly recommend against it because usually you do not want perfect collision for blocks. Because as the voxel shape gets more complicated, it gets computationally more complex, and it's going to slow the game down significantly. So in this case, if you want a, let's say, instead of what we're going to do, we're just going to have a combination of the following. We're just going to get one like this, if I recall correctly. Something like this, most likely, is going to be the thing that we're going to do. And that's going to be it, right? So this is going to be our voxel shape. I think that's totally fine. If you want to go a little bit more detailed, then what I would suggest you do is you do this, right? So basically you do the number one seed, and then you do the following. Just move this, the other one. So you do two different voxel shapes and then combine them, and then you do this. So this is what I would maximally recommend. Even there, it's a little bit of a toss-up because this is, you know, higher than a block. And if your voxel shape is bigger than 16 by 16 by 16, you can run into major issues. So I highly recommend basically doing it like this. Doing one shape at the bottom and then one shape here for the backrest.
Oh, there we go.
But yeah, that's just a sort of little excursion here when it comes to voxel shapes. Let's actually add them and let's see how that is going to look.
Yes, let's actually add them.
Inside of the chair block itself, we're going to have a private static final voxel shape. I'm going to call this the shape equal to block.box. And then we need to define the different minimums and maximums. Those are going to be 3, 0, and 3. Not 30, but it's 3. Then a 13 over here. A 16 for Y. And then a 13 again for...
What? Huh? What? We don't need overrides? It extends block here. This extends basically the same. Private static final voxel shape. Are we dead ass? This cannot be that easy.
Now you might say,
no.
Where does this come from? Well, once again, let's just...
Stop. What he does is this. Private static final voxel shape. This cannot be true. Private static. Fine. No voxel shape. Shape. I believe this does not exist. Ah. Why does he not have that? For man.
Let's set up Minecraft modding for 121.
What did I get new comments? I didn't. Custom block models, come on. Because you have non-block blocks. Custom block I was probably blind.
A custom 3D block model to our Minecraft mod. Based file that it generates, and we'll actually be able to see what that does. There we see
No
two
chapters.
JSON files written, and there it is, block states share, and you can see the variants here are basically just looking at the facing property and then saying, well, if it's facing not north, then we need to rotate it around the y-axis a certain number of times. Obviously, east and west would be, once would need to have to, or they would need to rotate. And one thing you might notice here is that when I hover over the chair, the bounding box is a little big, right?
Yes.
That is definitely a little bit,
It is.
not quite as optimized as we would want it to be. So let's change that with the voxel shape. Changing this is also super simple. Inside of our custom chair block class, we're going to make a private static final voxel shape over here. I'm going to call this the shape, and this is going to be equal to block.create cuboid shape.
Oh, stupid.
This is going to be a minimum x of 3, then a 0.0, then a 3.0, then a 13.0, then a 16.0, and then a 13.0 again. We then want to override the get outline shape method. We can also just we can take a look at shape, and you can see there's quite a few ones, but we want to do the outline shape method, and that's going to be turning shape over here, and there we freaking go.
What? But the issue is I need multiple. Now I could probably go with the fabric bit here. Just no, not the JPEG. The here, which is a for multiple shapes. Also not here, it's literally only written here. Voxel shapes.union. Wait, no, this won't work. How do I fucking do this?
Now, where do those numbers come from? Well, if I were to go back to my block model, that basically to reach this corner over here this way, that would basically be you know, from 1 to 3. So this is 3 3, then going, you know, -3, it would get us to 30, right? 16 minus 3 is 13, and of course we want the maximum height of 16, and that is because, well, the chair itself is actually taller than 16, so, you know, if we would want to make it proper, it should actually look like this, but I just like this chair a little bit better. I don't mind if it sticks out just a little bit into the next block, because usually that it should not matter. But of course, when it comes to your own block model files, you can always play around with those, change those up however you would like. I'm just trying to show you one example of this. But with the different shape, let's jump into the game again and see if it works. All right, back. We have this voxel shape for this, especially not like with each individual leg over here, and with this, because this is like 0.2, 0.5, so those aren't 100% like even. And yes, you could put in multiple different blocks, multiple different cuboid shapes over here and combine them. However, one of the reasons you don't want to do this is because it is very draining on the resources to calculate collisions and things like that. Let's say even if you look at the lectern, which has a 45-degree angled surface, look at this, right? Even that one has sort of steps over here because it is not necessary to 100% do this. And you can even see that the shape, when you hover over it, is even different than the collision shape. The collision shape is even easier, where you actually sort of are phasing through the actual block over here a little bit. So I highly recommend never going in and trying to make a perfect voxel shape. While you could do this, right? There are, I think, plugins or ways to export the voxel shape from Blockbench. I don't recommend this in the slightest, because it's going to slow down the game quite significantly if you have too many of those different models, and that is basically never a good idea. But yeah, there you go. That is a custom block model added.
But why doesn't he tell me how to do it?
Is because it is very draining on the resources. Multiple different cuboid shapes over here and combine them.
Wait, can I just do voxel shapes union? And then do this? Is this possible technically? Wait, this opening, this bracket here was never closed. So if I try to do this again, now the issue is here, it's done by using voxel shapes union, while here we have get outline, shape, block, state block, override, protect. God damn. Let me just add my freaking numbers here. Year. So that would be the right numbers. Now, he does override, protect, voxel shape. Now apparently this entire line here goes right here. And then we have at override. False. Right. Right. That is it? That I do not believe you. Now here this is what I'm actually wondering about.
So we're going to be adding a custom 3D block model to some block. We're going to say that. But so what we're going to do is we're going to do tutorial mod block custom, and here we're going to very straightforward here in this case. We're matching super forward. This is just a public static to the clear block. Is the get placements dot add, and that one we want to actually place this down tx. So this is the code, and what's this? So we're going to set down another idea of that is that now the registration, of course, is going to be super freaking simple here. In this case, it's simply a public static final block. It's going to be the chair equal to the register block method. It's going to be called chair with a new chair block as a class.
What? Wait. Can I... Where's the synth? Yes, they changed the theater mode. Symbol. Alright. Let me see. Mode blokes.
we're gonna create the abstract block.
Yes, that is all the same
Settings
so far.
with a non-opaque here in this case, so that we can't see through the.
What? Huh.
Well, two more.
Do I have to change this? Wait, no, it has to extend block because it doesn't exist anywhere else. This isn't even... No, this isn't even used. But then... Why does it not work? Hmm. Now this is stupid. Maybe I'm just too stupid. But this can't be true. Because it doesn't need get settings. We extended the right thing, no? It doesn't work. New custom present block, abstract block dot settings, so create this and then all the other shit. No, it should work. It should work. It should work. Oh god damn. How can it be this difficult? Might it be? Wait, does this work? No, if this works, then I'm actually speechless. If that was it. I mean, there's no way it works. I think I've tried this. It was like the first thing I've tried after static final block. It's not going to launch. What? It launched. Missing model for variant block. Isn't empty and oh yeah, of course. No, this is potentially working. It isn't. It isn't. It isn't working. And this is the present. But if this doesn't work, what if we just do what he did in the tutorial?
it. And so I would say, let's jump into the game and see if it works. All right.
We'll just do this. Right, we'll try to do this. We'll do the block dot create cuboid shape. This one's going to be a bit difficult because it goes from 202 202 14 9 14 202 14 9 14. This could work. I don't even know, man. But it will still not work. Because effectively this will be either the issue. If this doesn't work, then we'll try the other way again that he did in the tutorial, because effectively I don't even know. Well, might have to buy this Bloods modding lecture, honestly. Right, so it doesn't work, which was expected. Now I'll try this again. The way you registered it here was like this. Now if I add the bracket, yeah, of course.
Mit den McDeal Snacks gibt's etwas für jedes Du. Fürs Ich kombiniere Fries mit Sundae Du. Und fürs
What?
Was it the voice? Was it the fire burning in me? All of the noise turned into choirs of harmony. Left me with the pieces of forever that you broke. But since you left me alone, I've been
This won't work either. Believe me, bloods. So very sure this won't work either. Yeah, see. Block ID not set. We'll just try the auto fixes. Is this what we did? I'm not even sure. Might be the one we did. Yep. And this didn't work either last time we tried. They're always the block ID not set. And this won't work. Man. Might need to dig out some other stuff. However, how do I do that?
Tonight, the number one rule is there's no rules. Take shots back to back. We fucked up standing on top of bar stools. I don't care about how I look to them or anything they got to say. Champagne bottles in the club tonight, and we gonna make them spray. Cause we going all day and we going all night. 5 in the morning, I forgot about that flight. I ain't worried about it. I wish I didn't live life so careless. Like seem to be more fun when you care less. Not a worry in my mind, yes, no stress. Scrolling through my phone, starting to see some weird texts. Couple pretty girls trying to have some phone sex. I lose track of the future cause I live in the moment. This life is yours, so you might as well own it. My parties are the greatest, so you know you can't clone it. And if you can't hang, might as well go home, bitch. Celebrate life, cause life never end. Even when the motherfucking cops come in, pull them up a shot and tell them going from 10 in the morning till 10 p.m. We won't even stop when the cops come in.
Air block class. This will extend from the horizontal facing block.
Hey. Oh wait, could that be it? No, it is abstract block settings. Yeah. Man, why could this be? Hmm. Why? Why? Still doesn't work. Still does not work. So what are we going to do? We're going to open the ChatGPT. Actually, drag that over here real quick. There you go. Now we're doing something that I often do. Oh. Wait, is this actually... Does Fabric... the chat actually know ball? I believe it does. Abstract block settings. It is in fact correct. String name block. So we do block. Return registry. Block. So this is interesting. Wait, can I just copy this entire piece of shit? And make it do this. And then have it be block. Can I just delete this?
Sind det
Wait, does that work? There's no way this will work. Trust, this will not work. It will crash in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Crash. Crash. Yeah, crash. Block ID not set. Really? Yeah, see, now the others aren't working. We'll try this. This should be... This is ruled safe by chat. However, I don't have any hopes for this to even run. And if it runs... I have no idea. But it's not going to run. Why do the data fixer optimizations... Yeah, look, I always get the same. We'll try this, I guess. That's no... Yeah, no, there's no way. Does this work? There's no way this will work. Why? Why does this work? If I get my custom hitbox now, I don't even know. Are we dead ass? Are we dead ass? Oh my god, the hitbox is also correct. Wowee. That means I can now give it the more complex hitbox that I wanted it to give. Wanted to give it before. Yay! But at the same time, how do I add the settings? Do I just do like this? No, it doesn't work.
Get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. Now, when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around. You can lift me off the ground so we can fly again. So we can fly again.
Okay, apparently chat potentially knows ball. It might know ball. How does that work now? Oh, now I need to do it like this. No, I won't do this. This needs abstract block settings create. Okay. And then and brackets. God damn. If this works, I have no idea what it's done. But it's pretty crazy. Usually fails right after the data fixer optimizations. It worked. It actually worked. I have freaking bollicle. No way. We have the right sounds. And we have the right map color. Holy crap. Let's go. Yeah. ChatGPT sometimes is goated. Apparently that is the effect of... How is it called in English? Well, when you try to show someone something and and at that moment it doesn't work. So we're going to actually take this and make and make a separate thing here. So that we kind of have that present empty. Now this wouldn't be blue in fact, but I don't really need to oh, this actually needs a different hitbox too. Because the empty present block is going to have a different model. In any case, I believe I can go back here to voxel shapes now. Like this. And now upon running, I should technically get my cuboid shape combination kind of type of thing. Now it will run. If it doesn't run, then we have different issues here. Yes, it does run. It does run. Failed to parse into the realms. Good. Let's see if the hitbox is aligned with the block now. Wow. Now this, of course, this might... No, it doesn't. We could probably trigger glitches with this. Wait. So this currently, it is slightly lower than a slab.
WM Countdown beim Mediamarkt. Da gibt's 60 Tage vor der WM, 60 bis 70.
Wait a second. Actually, can I find a glitch here? I mean, it technically shouldn't glitch anything. Effectively. But on the upper half, This has the size of a slab. It's technically when placed on this block. Oh, is it too low? It's too low apparently. This glitch could happen when we have a block that is not quite full, like a chest, for example. If we have a chest placed here. Yes, now we're stuck underneath the edge of the present. Which isn't actually like anything particularly bad. Why does it look so odd? Because it's untextured. It just looks like concrete blocks in the wilderness. Until you see the brewing stand. You know, it literally still looks like it's massive blocks. For reference, guys, these aren't full blocks. That is just a very small one. That is actually a crazy optical illusion. Because if I F1 and we don't see block hitboxes, at first glance you might just think that these are weirdly placed blocks. That somehow overlap this brewing stand in a way. Which is why we need something in hand to cover the brewing stand. Now it just looks like it's a massive concrete building, but look guys, I built a present with concrete. In fact, I did not. It is just a really small block. That I have never seen. Actually, what would be a good idea is making a chest that has all the minus mod blocks in it. Is that a hash? Why can I not create hashtags? Why can I not write hashtags, bro? Sag. So there's currently no building blocks, however there's natural blocks, which would be the sugar block. Which does not have any mob drops or blocks or whatever. Then of course, let me just put these in like a chronological way. The example block really doesn't need to exist. No, we're not going to do that. I'm too lazy, brivs. However, we need to work on the sugar block. That is for sure, because wait, now that this is a non-full block, perfect. It already does that. Didn't know it could do that just by itself. I did not know that. Alright, in any case, we need to make the model for the empty present, which is relatively simple actually. Really simple, which we need to do like this, the custom empty present. So now for that we just need to copy this and call it empty, and then this should already have created the custom empty, and then this will be a block dot create cuboid shape, and then we do not need this. However, this one will be smaller. Exactly like this. This should be correct. Don't need voxel shapes in this one. So that would be that. Now why? Import, yeah. Forgot the import. Stupid. Alright. So now that this is here, we can effectively present empty. Present empty the entire thing. Model is present empty. Then the present will also be present empty. And here also present empty. Then here we're also going to have present underscore empty. But we are removing the 262 part. This bracket closes here, so we can just delete this block. And it will take the texture of present. And then it has the same texture. And that should effectively be it. There's no item model for this, as these are stock. So effectively, technically, wait, did I just edit present? Did not, right? Wait, which one? Oh, this one. Should be correct if I open this. Technically. Let's see. We should now have the empty present in here as well. And if that is the case, wait, if I take a head, these display differently. Hee. And the hitbox is already correct. So we now have correct hitbox. Everything is very nice. Now these are not placeable as like clusters. with orientation, which like player heads. I could do this with orientations most likely. However, for that I need to extend the most likely player head. What the player head uses, or any other. Player heads are probably the only blocks that have directional incremental placement positions that are not entities, because armor stands are entities, and armor stands are, I believe armor stands have and are without increments. Mob heads have increments. The no, how is it called? The conduit also has no increments. The conduit is a single rotation. There is probably no other block that has this. And if there is, it has to be a non-block block. And there is not that many of those. There literally is nothing. Now these aren't even blocks anymore. Do my eggs still exist? Oh, they do. Perfect. I'm not complaining then, but I will need to make new classes for those new creative menu slots here. Now the empty present, oh, the empty present already is named. The empty present is named, right? It is a, like the standard mod ass blocks that has no gravity and a lot of other things that it doesn't have. Now for the present it is going to be relatively difficult because there's no single present. And effectively I have no idea how I want to do this, because I wanted to make a present for a very small number of items, in fact. The only items I want to be able to be put in presents are effectively this row of items. Okay, this is what I want to be able to put in. Nether scrap, potentially, yeah, netherite ingots, then this entire row, the quartz, I'm not sure. Diamonds, lapis, emeralds, the raw ones, coal. The raw ones, I'm really not sure if I want them to be able to be put in a present, because it's 3 more presents that I'd have to make craftable. And modelable. So this is going to be difficult, as you can guess. Maybe resin. We want resin to be able to be put in there. Maybe with a heart of the sea, or a nautilus shell, or an ender pearl, or an echo shard, or these things, or food, or whatever. There isn't many things I want to be able to be put in presents. Maybe the trial keys. However, trial keys are like, I don't even know, bro. I want to automate this, but apparently my stuff here does not like entities, block entities. So I will most likely be stuck not having block entities in this mod, which in itself isn't extremely bad. However, I believe crafting tables are block entities because they have an inventory. So if I get those to work, I can still change the presents. For now, I will just add like a craftable 20 or so presents that there is like fixed presents. However, these would need different tags. Or an NBT tag. And now this is the issue I'm facing. How does one make the, like, because this is always present, I believe. Or is this just advanced tooltips? Let me actually find this out. The advanced tooltips are F3H. So if I turn the advanced tooltips off, I cannot see. Oh. Okay, so I don't care because it's advanced tooltips. Advanced tooltips, they show you a lot of things, you know. I mean, they show you the components, show you the useless component number. That for what do we have? For example, my eggs, they have 10 components. Or everything has 10 components. I believe all the things I've added so far have 10 components, except for the food stuff, which has 12 components. Why is this so far down? Oh, because I added these later. They're being registered later. I need to make these into a group, if that is possible. An inventory group. No, inventory groups don't exist in Java. In Bedrock they do. Bedrock has inventory groups. And the creative inventory. Because obviously they have smaller inventories. Like visually smaller. So they might need the space. However, they are smaller. What I want to say. But what I don't really get is why no, I do get it, but I'm kind of unsure. Didn't I retexture, guys? Didn't I retexture the Creeper Crunch? I mean, these look freaking tasty as hell. The bits of cake and cookie pieces looks absolutely tasty as hell. The Creeper Crunch still has no detail. Except when you hold it in hand, then you see a bit of detail, but the contrast on the actual texture probably still not high enough. Maybe I should have stuck with this idea of the snow texture being the background. these three.
Sind Jahr ist zurück bei Euphoria.
Irgendwie fing ich zum ersten Mal an.
Maybe they need a secondary texture. I mean, I believe these two are fine. This one, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Also, wait, what did I cook here with the outline? Is the outline darker up top? Oh, it is. Outline's darker up top. What the hell? No, I need to change that. The outline has to be darker up top. Brighter up top than dark. And this one has no change in the outline color at all. It has just alternating colors. It's not brighter up top. Also needs changing. This one might be the only one that is actually considerably fine. However, it also doesn't have a notable change. Cooked. Need to probably change the ice cream again. And I did want to do the textures for those, but I believe I will just make a wait, does the empty present technically just not need a ribbon around it? Nah, we'll leave the ribbon there because it makes more sense crafting wise. No, not crafting wise. Loot table wise, it makes way more sense. Now hear me out. Why does it make so much more sense? This is actually elite ball brain knowledge here. Why does it make so much more sense? It makes so much more sense because when you place the present upon crafting the present, which you will craft presents by using most likely paper and the two dyes that are used for making a present. Right, so we have just blue and red. We're just going to make this a fixed crafting recipe. I am unsure if there is a crafting recipe in the game yet that requires dye that has only one variation, or well, no variations, that is just always the same. So effectively my ice creams do that. The eggs technically do too, because I was unable to make a single crafting thing for them. Or a single, in total, single item basically that changes. But I'm really sure that wool has 16 or whatever, how many colors there is, different textures and also different blocks, because they're all different blocks. They're not NBT tagged, they're different blocks. And the 3 different eggs that are currently in the game obviously are too, because also obviously they are what are they? Because they're obviously only 3 and don't need to be that many. Also, they're not like really color dependent. In any case, what I was going on about the crafting something with a specific dye. Actually, I could ask chat that. So I asked ChatGPT and it told me that there is in fact not a single item in vanilla Minecraft that meets this the criterion. Of course, that has a reason. Or, well, better said, the reason this is the case, or not the case, is because Minecraft's, according to ChatGPT, Minecraft's color system was designed in order to make every crafting recipe using them a flexible recipe. So, like my eggs, you can craft everything that uses a dye with any dye. So what I've done unknowingly with my ice cream, which does use a dye, but only takes one specific dye, is I've basically broken the quote-unquote rules of the Minecraft color system. Now, of course, these aren't actual rules, and I do not care if I break them. However, it is really interesting to see. Also, I would like to have these here listed in a single line that kind of just follows my styling better. And these here on one line, and then that looks exactly the same as this. We're just giving it the function abstract block settings. As a matter of fact. I don't know. What if I remove custom, these probably won't work anymore. They work. Wait. I will just attempt something. The falling block is a falling block. If I register this one as a custom block and not as a Whoa. Ah, I know why. Of course, because it doesn't have this custom empty shit. Yes, so it won't work. We'll chill. We'll chill. Just leave it as is. It will work like this. It's perfect. And so what? I'm registering 3 types of different blocks. Cool. Effectively, what I'm doing here with the falling block is I am overriding the I'm overriding here. Yeah, the map codec extends falling block. And then this here. However, however, this is interesting as a matter of fact, because what I've effectively done with the falling block here is I've done what I've done with the custom blocks, except it's done inside of here, and I believe I could have done it the same way for the presents. However, I would rather have the flexibility to change my custom blocks to be actually custom. So I'd rather have this in a separate set of files, because I currently have 2 custom present blocks. One that is empty and one that isn't. And in order to do that, I would have had to make 2 whole registering register block paragraphs in this file, and I'm not gonna lie, these are really short. And in total it will probably almost use less space. It will at least be very much more easy to overview, because if I need to change one of these blocks here, then I need to freaking find where it is defined, right? Now I could even collapse these, which I should probably start doing, collapsing stuff. However, I like seeing what I'm doing, but actually I intended to do the boring repetitive R part today after making the texture, but I was also expecting at the same time that hitboxes would not work as well as I intend, because the only source I can find is a non-working... Well, it would have worked if I registered it correctly. I'm pretty sure what this dude wrote on Reddit 4 years ago is still valid to this date. It will most likely still work, even in newer versions. Because effectively what I've done here in my custom present block here is effectively what he did, except that I've done it here, and then basically I'm packing this into like a... What is this? This is a... I have no idea what this is. A variable, I guess. I don't know what this is. I would call this a variable. However, I'm not sure. It works similar to a variable, I guess. It's not... No, it's not a variable. It's basically... It's packing the information that I give it here. Technically, it is a variable. Or a constant in this case, because It doesn't change, it's constant. However, it has this value, I guess, and it then just returns this value here into this get outline shape function here. Or whatever the function is. In this case, it's just overriding the voxel shape, and it overrides it with shape, which is this. So effectively, I could have removed this line and then put everything here directly into here. But this way, I actually don't get a single advantage. I know I don't get an advantage through doing this. It does maybe give you an advantage if you have a massive amount of overrides and you then have this at the top. That makes it easier. But I believe I will not have any custom block files that will extend far below the length of my screen. And I mean, effectively, this is pretty good. It's pretty good. I like this. And the fact that the texture is also working. The texturing with the single texture file on 2 textures is great. Because that makes it extremely much more easier to manage the presence, because I mean they're sharing. I mean the empty present is sharing all the textures. It has inside textures that are unseen, which could have been left untextured technically. However, I did not do that. And the current present PNG is this, and it is a very unusual texture from what a vanilla texture would look like, and technically I could crop it to be a single full pixel smaller. In fact, if I moved the entirety of basically the upper left corner here to the bottom right, which would fit height-wise, we could even go a pixel smaller on the side, or as a matter of fact 2 pixels. Could you believe that? So I could, but then this would be a pixel longer, so I could either remove 1 pixel from here or 2 pixels from here. But it's not like it's unnecessary. Also, the texture is already so small that it's a 24 by 24 PNG. That is like a really small texture. Because it is such a small texture, it has to like... This one has 4-bit color. Why ever it decided to do that? This one has 8-bit color. These all probably have 8 bits. Yeah, even this has 8 bits. 8 bits. The more complex ones are all 8 bits too. So I would have expected this to be 4-bit. No, actually no. Slime Boss, even that is 8-bit. Okay. Okay. I believe we probably don't have any textures that are more than 8 bits. This is, as a matter of fact, 32 bits. What the freaking hell? This texture is massive. It's 128, so of course, but 3.6 kilobytes. These are bite-sized. Literally. These egg textures are 400 bytes, and you're not going to notice a difference. If I look at the Creeper Crunch, which has very subtle shading. Still 8-bit color. Or the coarse dirts do. All 8-bit. Why the sugar block is 4-bit? I have no idea.
No cap, unsere Generation kann wirklich etwas bewegen.
Herbs do. It's all 8-bit. Potentially that is due to the fact that the textures are so small. Maybe it would want to use higher bit rates for larger textures or for more complex textures. I'm not sure. Even this is 8-bit and this has some quite crazy shading. The what about the Magma Cream Ripple 8-bits? What about the ice cream with cookie pieces? Those are like the newest, more advanced textures. It's like the most tasty shit I've ever seen, bro. These two look legit tasty as hell. Well, in any case, the present.json. No, I'm stupid. Present.json is this. The present PNG. Well, also, I'm like crazy with it. I'm editing JSON files by hand. Like, look at this. I could have technically drawn this by hand. Yes. I didn't. However, I edited this one by hand. Crazy shit. I know. Also, I don't know what's going on with these coordinates. Or why they look like that. Could be glitched in the file. But I could try removing the or rounding them. Though I'm not sure if that is going to work. Well, in any case. util function. I believe we had something in there. So I believe this is perfectly good, perfectly okay, perfectly fine. Registering everything, and that is decent. Now, in the language file here, we're going to have empty present. I mean, we have empty presents, what I wanted. And in the in this file we, as a matter of fact, have present. I've on purpose not added present here yet. Well, I could, but there's going to be not a single present. It's going to be present underscore and then the item name that is inside of it. With that way I can basically work around the have a workaround for it being a mob entity, a block entity, sorry. Because it's not an actual inventory, it is just storing an item by being a different block. So when you craft it with a specific item, but you get a different block depending on what item you use. Now, you cannot put everything in this gift, which was on purpose. Which also allows me to regulate smuggling of illegal items, because they can't be put in presents, which is actually a really good way of handling this. No, this is like something that would never be an issue. And if it was, it would be pretty funny if people would be smuggling, I don't know, glitched rockets or... No, glitched rockets would be difficult though, because they're legit items. They just have glitched NBTs probably. like textureless blocks or barrier blocks, stuff like that. I could exclude those, of course. But this way, by not including them, I'm effectively excluding everything else, so that works too, I guess. Why can I not close my bottle? Freaking stupid. In any case, that will be it from me for today. We will commit this shit. Present block. Present block hitbox. Fixed. Present block hitbox fix plus empty present hitbox fix. Present hitbox fix. Yes, hitbox fix. It's empty present. Problems. Yes, it still is always the same. On the old one, what do we have? Like, this is stupid because I changed that to being pluses.
Kleine Frage. Deine Passwörter, deine WhatsApp-Nachrichten und deine ganzen...
Yeah, so we'll just... We'll just slow that one. Just commit and push. All changes. Oh, I've added one modified. Of course. 2 warnings. Yes, commit anyway. Yar. Push. Perfect. Committed, they're being pushed, they were pushed successfully. And that is great. I can save that then and we're good to go. And actually, can I open? Most likely can't. Maybe here. Jit. God diddly damn. Did I go after midnight on working on the eggs? And on the gas tier swirl ice cream? And the creeper crunch I did. Oh yeah, these I did do in an afternoon. Before this stream, creeper crunch ice cream. Why did I do that off stream as well? And then why did that turn out to be a week later but extremely late? $10:50 in the morning on a Monday? What are those times? It should always be between like 9 and... Yeah, 9 was relatively... The sugar block was early because I was doing an earlier stream, but everything should be between like 10 and 12. Some of those are actually diabolical times. Like, what was I doing at 1 in the morning on a mod? Multiple times. At least the recent ones look decent. However, I find this very cool that I can see the progress. I'm already working on this for so long. Crazy. Started in November. No, October. So it's been half a year since I've started. Pretty precisely, the first item was added like even more. More than half a year already. And I have added about 70% of the first 3 books. And these are the ones that have least content item-wise. once I get to working on weapons, weapons and armor is like the next big things that we need to work on. And after I've added loot tables for the presents and the sugar block and all of that, we will what will we do? We will we will probably start on those. Actually, before I end the stream, I guess I can close. Save that first. Save 20 times just to be safe. If I look at my file here where I have all of this shit written down, I have done most of this. Forensic glowstone has been done. These have been done. Mobs. The freaking Ender Cave Spider. When was that mentioned? Book 3. Rather far in, actually. Pretty close to the end, actually. About 20 pages from the end. We're having 230 something pages. That is quite far in. So we have 3 mobs to add. One is a boss mob that I don't have any idea on how to add. Then a massive fishing rod. An obsidian sword. These are actually easy to do. Obsidian swords were however only mentioned. I am not sure if these actually exist. Glowing red metal sword, which has elemental nature and uses lava to be crafted. However, this I believe would require a larger crafting table. One of the 5x5 by 5. No, what was it? 5x5 and 7 in a cube. The 7 cube doesn't actually work. It is impossible to do. Oh, the 5x5 wasn't even mentioned. Oh no, it was mentioned. It was mentioned on the same page. But the 5x5 crafting table is probably a block entity. So we have to figure out block entities sooner or later. Yeah, but it's, as you know, it's cooked as hell, bro. Cooked as hell. The weapons, I should do weapons. Armor, we also have armor, right? And I don't want to add a custom armor slot. But neither do I want the the vanilla capes bug into this. Now this is a really difficult thing because vanilla capes are capes, and what the mod adds, or is supposed to add, is cloaks. Now if I want to make these dependent of gravity and all that stuff like capes do, that would probably exist somewhere. I could probably figure out the code for this in not so reasonable time, but I could probably find it, or find someone who knows how to do it. And even if that means I need to join a Discord for Minecraft mod coding by Kaup and Joe, which I should have probably joined like half a year ago, or at least like 4 months ago when I started to do the crazier shit. But there's things that are relatively simple, like scarves. Now a scarf, you would probably be able to wear that over a chest plate, and when you wear a helmet you could wear a scarf, right? It is possible. IRL is possible. However, that would require for me to change the vanilla inventory, or it require usage of a other mod and then use dependencies of that mod to make my mod be able to use that slot. I intend to keep my mod standalone, or at maximum make other mods voluntary or compatible, I guess, but not needed. However, in fact, as a matter of fact, I do intend to do this. Using a probably block entity, make a custom crafting field. However, and that is the biggest issue about this, I believe, because this is a non-standard crafting block. Not only is it a non-standard crafting block, it also has non-standard crafting recipes. So we'd need to make a new file structure that hopefully closely follows the vanilla structure. Not a file structure, a structure how to list the recipes. I want to follow the shaped crafting recipes key here. Or shapeless, I guess. Because you could probably make shapeless recipes with 10 to freaking 25 items. That would also mean it's the biggest GUI that exists. Because a 5x5 is an absolutely massive window. And it could potentially be that it doesn't display correctly on displays when you have the scaling, the GUI scaling too high. Because I'm not sure if it takes into account when there's GUIs higher than standard GUI. Because as in standard, there's nothing taller than well, basically anything, everything, most things are the same. It's basically going to look like a crafting table, just like 2 slots higher, which is quite a bit, you know. Also, 25 items. Imagine there's a crafting recipe that requires you to use 25 different items where none is the same as the other. That would require you filling almost your entire inventory without hotbar, but the rest of your entire inventory down to 2 slots full with items. I couldn't even make a crafting recipe that makes sense using 25 items. Could probably make the most realistic cake baking recipe out there. And I have to figure out, because I am relatively sure the recipe is not described in such utter detail, how to craft muffins or cupcakes or whatever that was using a 5x5, because it's uncraftable in 3x3. So it needs either a shape that is exceeding 3 slots in height or width, or it needs more than 9 items in total at the same time. Diabolical. Yes. In fact, very diabolical. Then that is pretty much it for these things. We would also need to make a new potion, which is basically a resistance potion. However, it's also a knockback resistance potion at the same time. It's called the Potion of Stone Skin, and I believe that is what it does. I have no idea how you would even make that potion. I'm unsure if there is a mention of a crafting recipe or an idea of a crafting recipe or anything. That is a bit... That is, in one way, it's the cool part. In another way, it's also annoying as hell, because I have to create crafting recipes and imagine crafting recipes for so many different things that I have no idea how to even go on about creating them. I didn't have a book that has them, which I don't, so this is shit. And then there's other enchantments, which means I have to learn how to make enchantments work, which have not only gotten the effect that they do, they also have limitations on where you can put them, limitations on how many levels there are, the increase per level, the what is there? The XP usage, the combinability, I guess, compatibility with other enchantments. Potentially I'd need villagers to sell them. But no, that would be something else. I cannot make villagers sell those. Why? Because villagers cannot know these books, because they are, I believe they can only be dropped by mobs. Now if I did that they can only be dropped by mobs, you would never see those in-game in the survival world ever. Dare even know that they exist, because you wouldn't. If you didn't know they did, you would not find out they existed. Unless you're super lucky or you actually grind mobs as a 9 to 5 IRL. I don't even know. Yeah, but anyways, let's get out of myself for today. I'll have to add loot tables next time. First the texture, then loot tables, and after the loot tables, it would probably mean working on either armor or weapons. I believe that's what we should do. It's probably the smartest decision. So, goodbye everyone. Until next week. Next week should be a relatively chill week for me, by the way, too. So I might not almost fall asleep, like I do every second stream or so, when I'm not sick or sleepy. And though that's the same thing, sleepy and tired, it's the same thing pretty much. Or when I'm not to stream or wanting to stream early or whatever is going on. then next week should be a chill week, and I should be decent at it. I'm working on a lot of things, IRL projects too. And next weekend I will probably be working on the freaking moped again that I haven't ridden since I have my bike. Not even once. Since I have my car, bro. No, I don't have a car. Since I have my license. In any case, that's unimportant. That would be a maximum second channel stuff. No other channel, not second channel. Because it's technically, if I invested as much time in my other channel as I do in this one, with the same quality, then it would most likely be my main channel in less than a year. However, I intend to work on this while I can work on this, and on the other while I can work on the other. So that means I will probably work on the other channel's videos finally. I have not uploaded a video to there. I've lost another sub today, great. I've not uploaded a video to there in 479 days. That is 1.5 years, almost. That is Christmas 24. And I intend to upload at least multiple videos this year. This week I might just edit it. Or mostly next week, I guess. So, yeah, goodbye. Yay. Let's go.